And welcome to a long overdue Eternium video. It's been requested many a time over the years. I guess it's time to finally make it. It's a crafting video, and in particular a very common question to me: how do I craft level 77 gear? Obviously when you get to the Blacksmith, the maximum item level you can select when you're a level 70 character is 71. So in this video we'll take a look at various the absolute basics and prerequisites before you can even think about crafting a level 77 item or anything above 71. Look at some probabilities. There's a couple of algorithms that we need to go through. Then I think we'll look at the method that I use, which is quite awkward to explain, probably won't make any sense to you, and I think we'll finish up with a very useful tool that is probably going to help you a lot more than anything else in this video. I'll put links to further reading on the forums down in the description, along with a link to a tool that's in there, and I guess we should credit Lodwig that came up with the initial theories behind some of this crafting. There's the general community that then all chipped in with data, and the creator of the tool called Pythia, which I believe was created by, I'm going to butcher his name, Umbra Die, ends in DEI anyway. So let's crack on. Okay, so first up we need to take a look at the prerequisites. If you don't fulfill these, there's no way that you're ever going to craft anything greater than level 71. So if you come over to the Blacksmith, you'll see at the top it says that I've got mastery level 50, which is the maximum level that it goes up to, and over here we have a show perks button. If we click on that, we can see that there's various perks that unlock as you level up your crafting mastery. I've got a separate video going into all of this in detail, so if you want to know more about them, check that video out. What I will say for this video, the one that we're looking to get to is Master Crafter. This unlocks at mastery level 25. Level 25 you have a 25% chance to gain an extra item level, and that can apply multiple times. So if it's a successful roll for an additional item level when you're crafting, then it will roll again. If that's successful, it will roll again and again and again, up to a maximum of 6 rolls. If it fails, then the process stops, and that's the level item that you get. Ideally what you want to be doing is maxing out your mastery level as soon as possible, once you've got materials and gold to do that, because once it's at level 50 you've got a 50% chance, so that greatly increases your odds of getting a 72 or higher item. The mastery level is account wide, so you only need to level it up once. I will say that the crafting history is unique to each character on your account. Now for the moment we don't need to worry about that, I'll go into that in more detail later, but it's something to note. But once you've got that crafting mastery level up to level 50 on one character, or you can use multiple characters to do it, you never need to worry about that again. It's done and dusted. I think before we move on and look at some of the probabilities on that crafting, I think I do need to point out something else. There are 2 crafting algorithms that come into play. There's the regular crafting algorithm, which is going to take that straight percentage based on your crafting level or mastery level. So at level 50, 50% chance. That applies to most of the crafts that you do on here. There's a second algorithm, if I can say the word, that comes into play purely for set and unique items. So on set we're looking at your So anything that says set, so on mage, the set weapons, forbidden knowledge, Grand Magister's command, these are set items. Again, under armour you'll see set, and then all of these are set items. Unique, there is no unique armour. Capes, you've got unique capes, your Integralis and your Carnival capes. Bracers, the Bracer of Mastery is unique. Belts, you've got unique belts that you unlock with glory. Trinkets, we have all the unique trinkets that you can unlock. These all follow a different algorithm under certain circumstances. And so we'll take a look at that when we get to look at probabilities, which should be coming up next. Okay, so looking at some probabilities, what I've mapped out here, probabilities when your crafting mastery level is at 25 for regular crafts, going from level 71 to 77. These are approximated. I've put them to the lowest common denominator over on the right, just so you can see the exact probabilities and how they change by the time you've got your mastery level up to level 50. Now these are following a flat probability algorithm, so if it says we've got a 1 in 64 chance of a level 77, you do indeed have a 1 in 64 chance of that level 77, and you could roll 2 or 3 in a row if you're exceptionally lucky. This general algorithm for regular crafts that we mentioned earlier allows for very good luck and very bad luck. You might end up rolling a whole load of 71s in a row before you see anything any better. I think this is the important one, the one that we need to talk about the most. And I think what you can see immediately, your chance of getting a level 71 is very low, a 1 in 64 chance. Most of the crafts are going to come out at level 72. So this is for the set and unique crafts, and they have to be level 70 or 71 when you're at the blacksmith selecting your level of the item. I'd recommend that you always select 71, because if you select level 70, the maximum that you're going to roll is 76. So always select level 71, and these are the probabilities for those items, but they are variable based on past crafts. So it won't stay like this for every single craft that you do. If your first craft is a level 72, the probability that your next craft is 72 isn't 50%. The probability of the 72 will drop, the probabilities of everything else will go up. When you've made that next craft, all the probabilities change again and again and again. So that's why I mentioned earlier that your crafting history is unique to each character on the account. So a brand new AMB character, when they come to craft their first set and unique item, legendary 70-71 item, this will be the initial state of their chances for the level item that they'll craft, and then all subsequent crafts after that will have different values, constantly changing depending on what has been crafted. It's based on, these probabilities will change depending on how long it's been since that level item has come out or been crafted. So 72, we're expecting that to come out half the time. So approximately every other craft we expect to be a 72. There's still random numbers coming into play, so it doesn't mean we're going to roll 72, 73, 72, 74, 72, 73, 72, for example. We might go a couple of 72s in a row, something higher, something else, and then back to 72. But overall, on 64 crafts, we do expect to see this distribution. It doesn't always happen. in very rare cases, but that is the expected distribution for 64 crafts using the other algorithm. Okay, so when I've got a brand new character and I want to track its crafting, particularly in a new beginning events, this is tracking crafting for level 71 set and unique items. They're the only ones that we can make any predictions as to what's going to come out. We know for everything else it is completely random, but the 71 set and uniques have variable probabilities based on how long it's been since the item was last crafted, or the level of that item was last crafted. So I use a pen and paper method, which I'm going to completely fail to explain satisfactorily here. But I start off by marking down on paper the item levels that we can have, so 71 through to 77, and the expected distribution over 64 crafts, which we saw on the probabilities. Then I need to keep a note of the craft sequence, because we know that we know that we need to keep a track of how long has it been since a level item has come out. For example, a level 74 should be roughly every 8 crafts. It might be longer. Level 75 should be roughly every 16. It could be longer, it could be shorter. There's random numbers involved all the time. Just as a point to sort of bear in mind, if we start down at level 77 and work our way up to level 72, you can see that it is doubling in value each time it goes up. And because the algorithm is tracking how long has it been since something has come out, this doubling sequence will keep sort of resetting itself as things come down. So if we're down, hopefully we'll get to a point where we can show that. But the very first craft the character had in AMB, where I tracked this one, was a 72. So I would write down 72, I chop out, scrub through 31, 32, write in 31. That was the first craft. Next craft, I have no idea what it's going to be. Probably not a 72, we've just had it. The probability has dropped away, the probability of everything else has gone up. Most likely result is 73, but it could be anything. As I say, there's random numbers in place still, but it was indeed a 73. At this point, probability of 73's dropped away, 72's come back up higher, and indeed a 72 came out. Now at this point, if we look at these doubling up, that's doubling to 30, but we're a bit top heavy here. 8 goes to 16, so this sequence going up there. We've also just had a 72. It's unlikely that we'll get another 72. It's not impossible. And 73 has been quite recent as well, so it's unlikely but not impossible that a 73 is going to come out. But the most likely outcome is not 72 or 73, and 74 is the highest probability out of all of the items that are left. And indeed that's what popped out during that AMB event. I think what I'll do is just run this through a bit more. So we had a 75 when a 73 was the highest probability for, or a higher probability at that stage, if we expect them every 4 crafts. But it then did drop out on that next craft. At this point, expect a 72 because we expect them roughly every other craft. We've just gone 2 without a 72, and indeed it came out. Now, I don't think I need to talk through all the crafts and sort of what we're expecting. Although to me 70, no, it looks fine. I was about to say 75, but not if we're doing a doubling game. We've got 3, 6, so that would be 12 and 24. We'd expect those up there before we expect to see a 75, and we have just had one quite recently. 7, 14, 28 all looks in balance. It's going to be one of these. We've got a 73 recently. It was another 72 dropping out. And then another 73. These are now below the doubling up. What comes out at 74. Now we've got a nice, expect perhaps 72 and 73. I think I was expecting something like a 73. That's what came out. So again, we've got this nice doubling. I believe in AMB, this is where I switched the video on for some crafting, because I thought, oh, level 76. We've got this 3, 6, 12, 26. That should drop down to 24 roughly, and the 76 should be due soon. So it's okay. We should see some 72s, possibly a 73, but a 76 should be coming up very soon on those crafts. Had a 72, a 73, a 72, and finally 76 drops out. So that's nice. That's what we wanted, for things to stay in balance. We won't see another 76 for a long time. We expect them once every roughly 32 crafts. We've had a 76 now. The probability of that plummets away to a very low percentage. Probably just run this through. So 74's there. I think on this one strange things happened. 71 dropped out. I'm just seeing if we end up with a 5, 10, 20 is a 75 coming out. I don't have that to hand. It's looking overdue. Another 74. So at this point, okay, we should have some 72s and a 75, and there it is. And this next one I expect to be 72, which it is. We've now got this 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 doubling. Is the 77 coming out? No, we've got another 75, which, because we've got random numbers, they're very close together. We didn't expect that. 72 and the 77 finally came out at that stage. Very difficult to explain. It's why I've been delaying making this video, but that's what I do when I am crafting during AMB events. And that has probably confused the hell out of you. So let's move on to a much more user-friendly tool, which will show probabilities more graphically for you, and hopefully that will be of a lot of use to you. Okay, so this is an online tool that was created that can help sort of display probabilities of what's about to be crafted for those set and unique items. As you can see here, legendary, set or unique, level 71. I've got a link to this website on the description below. And what you do is either type in this box your craft sequence and then click a button to ask Pythia, or you can click buttons down the bottom here to show which item level you just crafted, and they'll automatically get added into here. And what you can see if you hover your mouse over the different item levels, so they're all color coded for you, you can see those initial probabilities which match up hopefully with what I put earlier. These are slightly more rounded. So if we put in that same crafting sequence, so if I click on this button here rather than type things out, you'll see that it now adjusts the probabilities. We can see that we've crafted a level 72. The probability for 73 has shot up, and that was indeed what we had come out. Probability of 72 is 43.5. We've got a 37% chance of a 74. As I said last time around, 72 was the most likely. It was between a 72 and a 74 as the most likely, and indeed it was that 72. We've been through all that before, and it was at that point that I said not 72 or 73, and that the highest probability would be 74, and indeed Pythia is showing us an almost 70% chance of a 74. It could still be any of these. They're very low probabilities. Even a 71 or a 77 can drop out. We've got a 2% chance now. It's risen slightly, but with that earlier sequence that we saw, it was a 74. And again, the probabilities have readjusted. 72 was the next craft that came out in that sequence that we just did, and this is where I said I expected a 73, and a 75 came out. The 73 had a 63% chance. 75 was 23.2, but we got a 73. No, we didn't. We got 75. I was expecting a 73, and you can see that the chance of the 73 was then all the way up at 80%. So we throw that in. Chance of the 72 has gone up to 93%. We expect them roughly every other craft, so its probability has gone through the roof. The probabilities of everything else have plummeted. Our level 77 is at 0.3%. It doesn't mean it can't come out. It's just exceptionally unlikely. Most likely was 72, and that's what we got. Quite a mix going on here now. The next craft was a 72. You can see that this 76 is growing in probability. I had a 73 in that sequence, then a 74 popped out at 34%, and indeed a 72 to follow up at 92%. The next was 73, 72, another 70, losing track of where we are. So 27372, it was a 73 that came out, followed by a 72, and I think the next one was 76. And as you can see, Pythia is saying we have a 41.9% chance. So with my pen and paper method, I think I started looking for the 76 once we crafted that 72 after the 74. Pythia is now saying at this point we've got a very high chance, and indeed that's exactly what happened. We got the 76 at that stage. We did get a 72, and the next one was 74. You see this level 71 chance is cropping up quite high. We've got a 72 on this next craft, and Pythia, being very clever, said there was a 27.7% chance of that 71, and that is indeed when it popped out for me. If we put in the other crafts as we go through, we'll just see what it looked like just before I got to the 77. So a couple of 72s, then I had two 73s in a row. 72 was followed by a 74. And another 72, and 75 popped out at this stage, and there was a 76% chance for that. You can see our 77 chance is growing. It's up at nearly 3%. We had a 72 at this craft. I think I've lost track. I think I had another 75. Yes, it was a second 75 at this stage. It was a 43% chance. So although on my pen and paper method I thought it unlikely, Pythia said no, it was very likely. Then we had a 72, and the next craft was a 77. And as you can see, Pythia has correctly suggested that 77 was the highest probability. So that same sequence. So Pythia looks to be a very good tool. So if you are new and unfamiliar with crafting, then your set and unique items, I can highly recommend that you keep a careful track of them through this, because it is giving good indicators as to the level item that comes out. That was quite surprising because I don't normally use Pythia, so seeing it predict those two 75s close together was impressive, I have to admit, and having it with a high probability when the 71 came out. I believe this is based on a very good approximation of the algorithm combined with a lot of data sets so that it can pull from both to come up with these probabilities. As you can see, it's keeping a track in the website name as well, and you can, if you lose track of your crafts, you can click this click to check crafts. I believe you'll need to take your hero, rank a new position on the leaderboard, and then tell it, are you playing, is that character in season or one of the A and B leagues, and which class it is, and then it will, if you type in your leaderboard rank, it should be able to pull in your crafting history for that character. So highly recommended, especially if the pen and paper method has completely confused you, which it probably has. It's something that I've stuck with since the days of data gathering for this sort of thing that has ended up being created. So I think that will probably wrap up the crafting video. So in summary, get your crafting mastery to level 50, because that gives you the highest probability. Then crafting level 71 legendary set and unique items. Get yourself over to Pythia and keep track of the crafts that you're doing with that character. And so each character has their own unique crafting history, so keep separate records for all of them if that's what you're doing. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll attempt to answer, and as always, thank you very much for watching.